flywheel and clutch line have shown up, so I can finally hopefully put this thing back together for good. Let's do it. This rusted piece of metal is what's been holding me up for the last week, and this new clutch line. So yeah, before I go putting that on the car, we'll get this new master in, put the new clutch line in, and then when I had originally replaced the clutch, I already replaced the slave cylinder, so that just needs to be reconnected. Success. Well, I probably could have not let that happen. Alright, clutch hardline out the car. It is nuts that from factory they did all that, and I'm just simply putting that in its place. I'm sure they had their reasons for routing it that way, but I like this a lot more. Right, so now, just bench bleeding the new clutch master cylinder. There we go, it's just started dripping. Block that off and I'll pump that a couple times. That didn't work. Master cylinder's bench bleed after squirting me in the face. Very nice.
Max, baby.
New master installed. Right, so I just opened up the clutch kit. Going to chuck in the new pilot bearing into the flywheel, and then we'll clean up the flywheel, then chuck it back on the car, torque everything up. Flywheel is installed, so now we've just got to open up our clutch kit and check that the clutch disc is sliding freely on the transmission's input shaft, and then assemble the pressure plate and clutch disc in there. I'm going to check that the release bearing is the same, because I've already put on the new one from the 1.8 clutch, but it's different. We'll have to chuck this one on. Alright, so this is the one I originally took out, and this is the one with the 1.8 kit, and they look identical, and they are the same height. So I'm going to say that I don't need to worry about that. I'll double check that with old Uncle Google. But that's cool, one less thing I have to do. Alright, let's give this pressure plate a quick wipe down, and then yeah, chuck everything in. Alrighty, pressure plate and clutch disc installed and all torqued up. So now it's time to put the gearbox back in. The gearbox is back in. Pretend that that happened instantly. Just gonna chuck the last bit of the exhaust back on, and then we are away. Alright, I did it again. I didn't film the end of the gearbox and clutch installation, but the car works, it drives, the clutch works. So my problem was that that flywheel had been over machined. Now I'll give you a little rundown on the car. So what do we have? Engine wise, it is just a stock 1.6 engine. Nothing has been done to it internally. It just has the old pod filter intake, and of course the old owner just removed the fucking timing cover. Thank you very much. I'm sure it's not rubbing on things. He has gone and chucked in a big alloy radiator, which is appreciated, and all the water pipes have been replaced with silicone ones, which is nice. But yeah, aside from that, engine is bog stock. The gearbox is just the standard 5-speed. I stole my nice vertex shift knob out of the BMW and chucked it in here. And it does have a catback exhaust system, which I need to modify because the resonator down there is hitting on the axle and making that horrendous noise when I drive it. Exterior wise, it's a hard top. I was not going to buy one unless it was a hard top. I also have a nice fancy roll bar, an actual one, not just, you know, your kind of for show one. I am stoked about that. Is on adjustable suspension. So it's got some teen adjustable coilovers in there, and currently it's sitting on some 14-inch genuine Watanabes, but they are absolute shit spec, and there is a giant spacer behind there. These will get swapped out as soon as I find some better rims for sale, but for now they'll have to do. The mirrors are not the OEM ones. I don't know what they've come off of. I actually like them, they're quite cool. And the old owner's also put on these horrendous red seat covers. The seat underneath is kind of cooked, so they will have to stay for a little bit. Inside has been stripped out, as you can see. And these door cards, man, I do not like these. I think I'm going to get some fabric and cover these. And I think these are kind of hideous, I can't lie. I'll just be putting some like black ones in there because I'm not that much of a weeb. No radio, Momo wheel, and yeah, that is about that. Does also have a two-way clutch type LSD in it as well, which is awesome because that saves me having to buy one and get it installed. The best part, however, about this is that it's running a aftermarket computer, so I can tune it. And the future goal will be to turbo this once old mate over there sells.
There's a good chance some shit like that's been done.
Never selling this car. It's still on the base tune, so it was never tuned. And I would like to have it running a little bit nicer. So the first mission is going to be installing a AFR gauge and then wiring that to the ECU so that we can tune the car and I don't have to worry about it leaning out. So I've never installed one of these before, but I'm sure it can't be that difficult. I'll get the oxygen sensor in first. Now, I'm not sure, but I'm hoping it'll just plug straight into the original one. And if it doesn't, then I'm going to have to cut a hole in the exhaust and weld in the bung. So that's just saved me a whole bunch of dicking about. The factory O2 thread is the same as the aftermarket one. Now we just got to figure out how I'm going to run the wire inside the cabin. Well, I found my hole I can use. There's one already there that goes straight through under the dash. So perfect, let's get the wires through. Inside the car here, we're going to have to take off this panel that's hiding the ECU, and then we can pull the wire in through the firewall, and then I just got to figure out how to wire it up. Alright, now we game. Let's have a pokey. There we have it. Alright, now we've just got our flying leads here. I need to go online and find a wiring diagram, but I'm going to steal power from the radio, which is non-existent, and then yeah, I need to look at the diagram to figure out how to wire it to the ECU. Okay, after searching for way too long, it turns out there is no power going to anything in the radio, and then even behind the ignition wires have all been fucking chopped up. But cigarette lighter, which has already been played with, does still have 12 volts, so that is what we are going to use to power the gauge. Alright, let's get our first wire tucked behind the dash. Then we can plug that one in. Like so. And then we'll grab our flying leads here, and I'll start routing them down to that cigarette plug. Okay, so I figured actually it might be best to make up the 5 volt ground and positive wires first, because where the power's coming from, if I can run these now, and then I don't have to split all the wires from its nice sheathing. So we cut off our old O2 sensor, we're going to reuse the factory connector, and then this wire has to be connected to that white wire on the flying lead side of that plug. So I've given myself decent amount of room for error, I should say. We'll snip this. Cool. Now I'm actually going to keep some of it connected, because that white wire that goes to the original O2 sensor plug, there is a corresponding brown wire on those flying leads that needs to just be a ground. So I will make one of these, well, the red, the positive, going to the O2 plug, and then the black can be a ground, and we'll ground that off nearby in the engine bay. Alrighty, that little patch harness is made up, so there's the positive 5. Added an eyelet for the ground, and then these two flying leads here are going to come through the dash and mate with the corresponding colours on that harness. This side is loosely connected, and so is that side. Let's turn the key on, see if this gauge has power. Please don't fry anything. We are working, apparently. Alright, so I've just connected the laptop to the ECU, and I can see here that it is actually giving me a reading already, but let's turn the car on and see if the gauge is working. Okay, what I am noticing is a difference between what it's reading on the computer and what it's reading on the gauge. So let me just check that I actually selected the correct one. There we go. That is now matching. So 14.45, and it would appear that we've done it. Let's get this mess cleaned up. Much better. Alright, I'm gonna go register my tuner studio so I have all the features, and then I'll go take it for a drive. And yeah, just because I wanted another problem to have to fix. My window, well, it no longer goes up or down, and yeah, it doesn't stay up either. So I think temporarily I'll find a way to jam it up. So I've pulled out the runs, or guides, for the window, drilled a hole through it, and now let's say it's a nice hot day and I want the window down. Well, there's nothing in there. It's a rainy day and I want the window to stay closed. Yo, could you lift up the window for me so I can...
Shit flex, bro. Is it?
Nah, it's
For
a
the
pretty...
record, I think this is a fucking terrible idea.
Nah,
Just buy the regulator, bro.
Nah,
It's
alright,
like
just-
$100.
just let me get this Allen key. Fuck. Alright, I don't know how much of this I'm going to be able to capture because holding the camera while trying to tune is not super easy, but rather than me drive and then have to pull over every 5 minutes and change numbers, I've got Miles driving and I'm going to adjust the tune as we drive and try to get it a little bit more dialed in. I don't know if you can hear us, but we can put one window up. So I'm just basically trying to sort out the transient, just the little bits of partial throttle, and we're getting somewhere. Alright Jimmy, give her a rip. Feels pretty good. Yeah, man. So I would say it's a success so far. Pretty sure we've sussed the Excel enrichment. So the fuel map is really a bit all over the place. I'm having a problem basically where you give it like 2% throttle, like just to maintain cruising speed, and it leans right out, and the AFRs basically go past. But it's just trial and error, and I'm still learning. And it's, you know, probably the best engine to learn on, being a fucking $600 engine. If I break something, if I blow it up, oh well. Right, so after heaps of trial and error, the tune is somewhat good. I'd say it's about 90% good. There's still a little bit of a stumble when you come back onto throttle if you're giving it like 25%, but other than that, the AFRs are good, and it pulls right through to redline. So I'm pretty damn stoked about that. So now that the tune's okay enough, just taking it up to a little back road to give it a thrashing, and but I think this is where I'm going to end this video. So thank you for watching, and enjoy the driving footage.